What is up? What is going on, everyone? Dave at SVA Card Collectors, and I have another interview for you. Yes, another interview with Stryker Breaks. Some people had asked me, and I giveth. I think that's the way it said. So, had a lot of fun, learned, lived, laughed, good times. I think I did that for the last interview. I got to change this up a little bit, I think. But without further ado, here comes the interview. Before I get into the interview, I know I said, yeah, let's go into the interview. I have a little advertisement in the States. Yeah, I know, whatever. But still, I am talking about StarStock. It is a new marketplace that's about to hit the sports card scene. They are building a sports card market aimed to be faster, cheaper for flipping sports cards than any other platform. This is a ground level moment, and StarStock is currently looking for people who want to be first to sell their cards at the launch of this new platform. When I hear ground level, I always think of Shark Tank, and they're like, oh, you can start from the ground level, but you really can. And so your cards will be there and no one else's, and if you price them right, you'll have no competition. So people will be able to buy it, and you're like, wow, David's right. Which I'm typically am. Just don't listen to the previous podcast. So, 5% commission, no ingestion fees. You send in the cards. They do all the work. They post for you. They guarantee it. They secure it in a vault. And like I said, they got one tiny guy. He's in the front of the vault. No one can get in or out. You can choose to ship the cards back at any time. And you want to get your money out? I want to take my money out that I made. There's no fee. So, it will be a flipper's paradise. You can buy, flip, store, ship cards with a click of a button. If you're interested in getting involved as a seller for launch, contact Mike at mike@starstock.com. Right now, they're only looking for rookie cards and are prospects of current players, baseball, basketball, NFL. Guys, you can also head over to their website, www.starstock.com. This will be launching in April. Super excited. And now, for the interview. Hey, what's going on? We are here with Stryker Breaks. How you doing?
Doing great, man. How are you doing today?
I am doing lovely. It's nice and balmy weather here in New York, raining. Where are you at, by the way? Where do you?
Yeah, I'm in Michigan, and it is, I guess balmy would be a nice way of putting it. It's gray skies, and there's some snow on the ground. It's pretty chilly. It's typical Michigan.
It's freaking freezing. Yeah, no, we haven't had, I'm going to knock on wood, no snow in New York, which is awesome. I hate snow about it. I don't like shoveling it. I don't even like looking at it. So I'm pumped about it.
Yeah, it's almost spring around here, and you know what that means. Baseball cards.
Baseball. So, man, now how I got started on your channel was you were figuring out the amount of cards that were being released. For Bowman, Chrome, the whole 9 yards. But I don't know your backstory too much. How did you get started into, collecting mostly baseball cards? That's what I know you from. I don't know if I saw you dabble in basketball, but I think you're a baseball card guy.
Yeah, pretty much all baseball, a little bit of basketball. But I started out on basketball cards, which is my origin, I guess. I remember walking into the store because pretty much like in the early 90s, late 80s, it was probably like 1989, every store had cards in it. You could go to the grocery store or the pharmacy or whatever, and there were just cards everywhere. So I remember going into some little grocery store with my aunt, my cousin, and he had, we were both into Jordan. And the Pistons were crushing at that time, winning championships. So basketball was huge, and Jordan was huge. And, some people that I knew were collecting. So we all started getting basketball cards, and friends and family, we would trade. We'd go to card stores together. We went to a few auctions together. And I got into it big time. I really think it was because of the Pistons and the back-to-back championships, because everybody around here was big into basketball. In Detroit,
Mm-hmm.
it's our saving grace, I guess. I mean, the Red Wings have always been good, but the Lions have never been good, and the Tigers went through a couple, I don't know, at least a decade of really being horrible. So it's like Pistons, and got into basketball cards, collecting Jordans, and it pretty much.
How can you collect Jordans if you're a Pistons fan?
Well, I was too young to really have like that rivalry. I can't stand Jordan. It was not until later, mid '90s, when it was just like, dude, this guy destroys us, and we couldn't beat him. We could not beat him. Then finally, I don't know, mid '90s sometime. I remember watching like the first game that the Pistons beat the Bulls after the championship years, and it was like just such a relief. But I mean, Jordan was the face. Gotta love Jordan. He's the GOAT. So
I'm sorry. I'm a New York Knicks fan. I do not like Jordan. Ever. Never. And even when I see his cards, I go, ugh. However,
yeah.
I did buy one. I saw a card. It was a good deal, so I got it. But even then, I put it on the bottom. I make sure that he's on the bottom of my stack, so he gets no respect. But I'm sorry. So continue. So did you ever get out of the hobby?
Yeah, I mean, probably from like 97, 98 is when it faded away for me, because I was like a junior in high school, probably sophomore in high school. Right around then, it was like, okay, time to drive, time to get the girls, time to just, like, that's all that matters.
Like, that's typical. It's like every single baseball card, middle-aged man baseball card story.
Yeah.
So okay, cool. So when did you get back into it?
Well, throughout the years, I'd still buy packs from time to time. Retail stores around here always have them. I remember always just going through Meijer or Walmart, and you take a little trip down the card aisle just to see what's going on. Even though I wasn't big into it, there was always that pullback. Always. It's every time I entered a store, I'm glancing around for cards. Even if I hadn't bought a pack in like 10 years, it was like, I wonder what's new with the card game. So from time to time, I'd go and buy a box or buy a pack or two here and there, but it wasn't anything serious. And inevitably, they'd just get pushed or put back into a dark box somewhere in the barn or on a shelf or in the attic or wherever. And but 2018 Topps Update was the thing that got me back. It was the Ohtani craze, pretty much. Something about Ohtani just being the two-way player, the pitcher and the hitter, and being able to do something that we haven't seen in a while. And it was being promoted a lot. So I started getting some update packs. And then even after that, the update was going on clearance. So I cleared out all the update clearance. I
wish I did. I saw that. I went, there's too many of these. I don't want. I remember there was so many of them. And I just went, nah. I remember in my head going, nah. Like, I don't need that. Dummy.
Yeah. I know. It's like you feel like it, when you're not a collector and maybe you just buy a pack or a couple of packs or a box or something, or even of a particular sport. Like if I were to go in right now and buy some basketball stuff, I would feel a little weird about it. Like I still do. And I've bought a few boxes of basketball this year, but I just don't have the passion for it like I do for baseball. So it makes you feel a little bit strange. Like, man, am I wasting my money on this? I don't really know anything about this. Basketball or even football. Like it would be with football for me. I know a lot about football. I just don't collect the cards. So if I were to go out and buy a box of football cards, I would just feel that tightness. Like, oh, should I be spending this money on something else? Or, investing it in something else or whatever.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's everyone. And you started around the same time that I started, but so you actually missed a lot of the Ohtani craze. You got the tail end of the Ohtani craze.
Well, I remember hearing about it here because watching all the Sports Center and everything baseball, because I've always been big into baseball. It's just the cards came later, and really the correlation between fantasy and the collecting. So like either season-long fantasy baseball or sports, any sport, and daily fantasy sports and sports cards. They go together really well. And I haven't noticed a lot of cross-platforming, I guess, between like the daily fantasy world and baseball cards. There's a little bit. There's a few guys out there that do some stuff, but I really I like that connection because I dive into like DraftKings daily fantasy baseball big time, and knowing all these players before they come up, like when they get called up, is a big advantage. Like last year, Gavin Lux gets called up. Well, who's Gavin Lux? Hey, guess what? I know who Gavin Lux is. I know all about him. So, you know, you have a little bit more information to work with of whether you should play this player or not.
Yeah, I'm thinking more about getting, you know, and not involved, but getting someone who does daily fantasy baseball as well, because I love fantasy baseball. As a kid, you know, in college I would do that, and then it was just like you know we were saying before, I just stopped doing it. And we SVA as a group, I'm starting a baseball league that I'm definitely going to do. But you're right, you would think there would be a lot more correlation or coordination between the two factions, because they go hand in hand, especially this prospecting aspect of card collecting.
Yeah, like you're diving in that deep with all these statistics. I think one of the big things with the daily aspect is these guys aren't diving into minor league statistics as much. You just don't have time. Right. Nobody has time to know every single thing about every baseball player. There, you know, maybe analysts, professional analysts, but average Joe.
That's it. Yeah.
You know, they don't know. So it's like if you're a collector and you're actually investing real money into these things, you're buying a player's first card, for example, you look at their stats and you get to know their stats. You get to know a little bit about what they've done in the minors, where they were drafted overall. And when they finally are going to make their debut, like everybody remember, I don't know if everybody does, but I remember when like Steven Strasburg came up, it was a big deal. Like Bryce coming up was a huge deal. Obviously, Vladdy last year, really big deal.
My wife made fun of me about Strasburg because I was like, "Oh, look at that curveball! How much?" And she goes, "Oh, why don't you like him so much? Why don't you take care of him later? I don't want to hear about this." I was sorry, you know.
Yeah.
Steve Strasburg.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I don't. And you know, when I was a kid, I don't remember people coming up. Like I don't have a memory of like Bernie Williams. You know, I'm a Yankee fan, so like I don't like have those distinct, you know, thoughts.
Right.
Now I do. You know, past couple years, I know exactly when somebody comes up. I remember the game. You know, like Aaron Judge came out, he hit a home run, and now I forgot the other guy. The other guy hit a home run as well. They went back to back, I believe. But so like now that I'm involved, like stuff just sticks a little bit better in my brain. Whereas I think they didn't have that information way back when. I mean, they did. Yeah. They had to really search for it, and no one was doing that.
Yeah, nowadays we have so many different places that we can research this stuff. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at Fangraphs right now. Like, you could just spend your whole life digging through Fangraphs stuff. It's
yeah. Once I realized what that was, I got a little excited, especially getting into, you know, Bowman draft, those type of cards.
Yeah.
I remember getting back into the hobby, Topps update. I remember that. And then I said, Bowman Chrome came out, and then Bowman draft. And I said, well, these guys haven't even played yet. I go, who's going to buy this? Like, I thought it was the dumbest thing. I remember talking to someone, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. These guys, they haven't even played. Yeah, it's going to go for a ton of money. Yeah, whatever. Like, I was so, like, naive about the whole situation when it's the most expensive box, you know, to get. You know, like it's just mind-boggling. All the changes from way back when.
And the I'm glad you brought up Bowman, because that's one of the big things. One of the first things I started recording for the YouTube videos was I happened to find some retail Bowman before anybody else had any videos about it. And you know, I found that out because I just searching on YouTube, like, okay, Bowman, because I was trying to figure out what is with all these different Bowman releases? What one's good? I mean, that's how it all started with me, is like, what's good to collect coming back to the hobby after 20 years or whatever. Like, there's so many different releases. What's good? What's the best?
Yep.
And so I started breaking down the different prices and comparing the odds and how much a pack costs with the odds, and figuring out, like, okay, what are the cards you want to get? Everybody asks me that all the time. Like, what should I buy? What should I buy? And that was the whole reason why I started doing the production videos and the value series videos and everything like that.
Yeah, no, I really enjoy them, especially like I geek out. I mean, you're not getting any dates off of these videos because it's really like baseball nerd knowledge, but it is just. I mean, I'll just listen. I'm like, oh, there's like 20 million cards. That sounds like so many. And then you're like, well, it's not that much because it's the whole entire set that there's 20 million, and you sort of break everything down, and it gives you a clear idea of, maybe a rainbow, from one year to the next isn't as, they made more of them or less of them. And so by doing these odds, you sort of figure it out. Maybe explain it, because I'm jumping into the middle of something. Explain like the videos that you do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just for the production series ones, like I just started doing the production videos not too long ago, maybe a few months ago. I mean, I'm still new to YouTube. It's like not even a year I've been on here, but recently I started doing the production video ones so I wanted to know how many cards do they make, and nobody knows really. I mean, if you go to the forums, the blowout forums, people have ideas, guesses. Some people work out some numbers, kind of like back of the napkin type numbers, but there was nothing in depth. So I was like, I can figure this out. I just wanted to know for myself. And that was the same thing with like the value videos. I just wanted to know for my own, my own sake, like, what should I be buying here? What's good? So basically for the production, since there's so many different formats, like it would be pretty easy to calculate the production of something that doesn't have retail, because there's exclusives, whatever, it's numbered. You can look at the numbered cards, whatever's numbered out of 100. It's like, okay, just multiply 100 times how many cards there are in the set list, and that you can basically come up with it. So like the hobby production. So first, let's look at 2020 Series 1. There's hobby, there's jumbo, you got blaster boxes, hanger boxes, fat packs, you got the tins now, you've got gravity packs, you've got Meyer exclusive packs. So there's like 8 different formats to try to figure out the numbers for. So how I start is, okay, let's find an exclusive card. And through hobby, it's pretty easy because there's a clear card, and there's only 100 of those cards. Well, those are 1 in 1,437 packs. So, okay, what you do is you take 10, they're out of 10, multiply it by 1,437, then multiply that by 100. You get 1,437,000 packs. So then this is where the fudging comes in, because you have to fudge the numbers just a little bit to make them work out. And pretty much everything you look at, you get different numbers. So what that tells me, at first I thought there was some kind of sneakery or trickery going on at Topps. Like, how come all these numbers are different?
Make stuff up, probably. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought either it's like they're lying to us, or somebody's taking these cards before they go out to the public, which that wouldn't shock me at all. So what I think they're doing is they're keeping back some of these cards out of every single parallel, so that when someone has a damaged card and they want to do a return or send it back to Topps, they can actually get a card of relatively equal value back. Because okay, say your red Pete Alonso numbered to 5 or whatever gets damaged. Well, how are you going to get a new one of those? There's only 5 in existence. They're not going to print you out a new one. They didn't print extras. What they probably do is they keep some red parallels of different players, and then you just get a replacement that's sort of near there. So that's where these numbers are coming out a little different. But anyway, back to the production. So if you figure out hobby production, which I calculated was like 1.44 million packs, then you can figure out the boxes, how many boxes they made, and then how many cases they made, and how many cards they made. Pretty easy. Well, now how do you figure out jumbo? because there's no exclusives to jumbo this year. I'm just using 2020.
Yeah.
So what you would have to do is find something that's exclusive to hobby and jumbo both, and then you deduct the hobby side, because now we already have the hobby numbers. We know the numbers, so we can find out how many. Like, for example, we can look at like a jumbo jersey sleeve patch. I don't know if you've seen those cards, but they're really cool.
Yeah, I like them a lot.
Yeah, and so there's a 46 card set, and if you use the blacks, there's 149 of them. You can figure out how many of those cards are in the hobby boxes, because those are 1 out of 2,612, which is crazy out of hobby. That means you got like 6,303 of them that remain for jumbo, and they're 1 in 68 in a jumbo. So you do all the math, you get like 7,143 jumbo cases. Well, I did that like 7 different ways to just make sure the numbers added up, and it ends up being about 7,000 jumbo cases. So, from there, you've got jumbo and hobby figured out, and you just pretty much have to guess from there on retail. And
that's why you do it, because no one else is going to go through this. Maybe guys on blowout form, because they're like the FBI and CIA. They get down to, they figure stuff out that, I don't know how they figure stuff out, but, I like to know those numbers, and I like to compare them from previous years. So I go, hey, are they making more? Is, a certain parallel more money or less money because they made more or less of them? Is it going to be harder to get? So I really do. I do like it. What do you think is and I'm going to put you on the spot. I don't know if you can answer it or not, though. What do you think is an undervalued set that wasn't produced crazy amount that people are sleeping on? I know you only got 2018, so I'm guessing it's going to be between 2018 and 2019. So what you've seen?
Yeah, I would have to, only just within the last few years. It's tough to say because I'm still learning. But my go-to was last year. It was clearly authentic, and that's my personal favorite. Some people sleep on it, but I love the fact. And typically, I don't like the cards that you just get one card out of a box. Like I don't really like that. I like getting a lot of cards.
It's just that's just like pure gambling. That's
Yeah, but with the clearly authentic, it had a great checklist. So going through, it's all pretty much Hall of Famers, stars, and all the good rookies that we wanted. You got your Tatis and Alonso and Vladdy and Eloy are all in the set, and it was pretty cheap. Like now it's probably about $55, but you could get it for a time. It was on sale as like $35. You're guaranteed an encased auto. It's going to be protected. It's going to be a mint condition card. It's got an autograph, and there's good odds to get a parallel out of there too. So you got like 1 in 2.5 chance of getting a parallel, something like that. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I really love that set. And maybe I'm a little biased because I pulled the blue Vlad auto out of there, and that's my only Vladdy auto.
Yeah.
So and that's another thing is it's hard to keep your bias out of this stuff, which I actively am looking at and thinking about. And will admit, anytime I have bias, I'm just like, boom, I got bias towards this guy. I like him a lot, and maybe it's not warranted, maybe it's not rational, but I really like him. So, like Tatis is my guy. I've been touting Tatis since the beginning, before he even made it up, and he ended up doing awesome. So it's like, now I've got this crazy bias for Tatis, and I admit it. It's part of the game.
My bias is Eloy Jimenez. And,
okay.
I think he's going to be really good. I think he went under the radar somewhat. But everyone was hitting a ton of home runs. So who knows this year if they, the balls may have been a little, as the Italians say, fugazi. They did something with the ball. So who knows?
Yeah, and remember last year, before the season started, we didn't have confirmation that Vladdy was coming up or Tatis, and nobody really knew about Alonso. It was the Eloy show. It was like, well, Eloy is the big rookie we're going to be looking for this year. And when they signed him to that major league contract, it was like, boom, everybody look out for Eloy. He's coming, and then he kind of got overshadowed. But there's a underswelling, I feel, in the hobby of Eloy love. And, his cards they're increasing a little bit in value.
They're pretty good. His top series 2, PSA 10 was going for 20. At one point, it was like going for 30, $35. But I think it may have gone down a little bit. I haven't followed up, dude. I have a ton of them that I didn't get graded because I'm gonna go broke if I try. I have that many. I have at least 20 of them.
Wow.
I have them in Heritage High number.
Did you pull those from packs, all of them, or did you buy a lot of them, or what?
I actually bought my first case I ever did. I did Heritage High number blaster case, and I got 2 of them. And so I had a bunch of them. I actually got a Tatis silver medal card that I sold for $225.
Whoa.
And I didn't realize. I knew it was rare, and as I was opening up, I'm like, God, this card looks it doesn't look as chromy, so it's not that good. So I remember not thinking anything of it. And then when I started looking them all up, I thought, holy, this thing's to like 70 or something like that. So,
Wow.
Yeah, no, I did really well on those. I'm a big proponent for like Heritage. I love Heritage. That's probably one of my favorite. Heritage and Heritage High number, and getting the blasters. That's my big. Or I don't know if they have the hangers for them. So probably
I don't think so.
Too. So
was that you?
Yeah.
I think that was your podcast I was listening to when you were talking about how much you like the blasters of Heritage. Can you expand a little bit on that and tell me why you think the blasters are better than Hobby for that?
Hangers are hangers or blasters, and the reason why is I don't think people are collecting the memorabilia cards or the autograph cards. The one thing that I didn't factor probably during that time, I just was naive, or I just didn't know, was the action cards. I think the action cards are a big deal, but
yeah,
if I remember correctly, because I just did this recently, I think you get 7 action cards in a case. So if the difference between a hobby case, and a blaster case, because now there's like a 40 count. So if we do Heritage this year, and it was a 40 count blaster to a hobby case, it was $400 difference. So I would say, well, is it worth getting those 4 autographs? Because you're only going to get like 4 or 5 autographs in a case. The rest are going to be that memorabilia nonsense or whatever the hell they give. And you're going to get 7 action cards. Is $400 worth that extra 11 cards? And if you bet the low, like they're going to be crap cards because it's a gamble. So I wouldn't say, hey, they're all going to be the top guys. We're not going to get the rookies for the most part. I would rather spend on blasters and get a lot more of the cards that I think, because you could sell the base cards, and you also you get more cards with the blasters compared to the hobby case. So you have
better dollar per card price.
Yeah, it's almost double. I think it was 24 and 20. No, what was it? 27 and 28 cents per card, and the hobby was 44 cents. So per card, it to me it just made sense to go after the blaster, or even I think the hangers are starting to go up in value, because I think 2019 Heritage High number, really I should have bought hangers instead of blasters. I think those were the better deal. But yeah, I mean that's what went through my head. That's my analysis. Is it right? Is it wrong? No, who knows? If you get a case and you got all the best rookies, and you got a couple of the top rookies with an action card, you're going, no, you're wrong. This card's amazing. This is great. But if you don't, like most people aren't going to hit a really good action card. Then you just wasted $400 to me, and you have a lot less cards. So that's my thought process.
Well, and one of the things I do the value videos, which we talked a little bit about, where you break down the price and like the dollar per card price. So for 2020 Series 1, just as an example, I've done the value sheet for most of the main releases, and the dollar per card is always cheapest in the hanger box and the fat pack. And the blaster box is pretty good usually, but typically you get a little bit slightly worse dollar per card through the blasters. So like those hanger boxes are gold though. Those things are gold. and they're so underrated. I don't ever hear anybody talking about them really. It's like,
I think it's starting to change a little bit because
yeah,
on my Twitter feed and things like that, probably because of videos like yours, I knew the blaster boxes weren't great because of the stupid memorabilia cards. Like Heritage doesn't have those. If I'm, you don't get one of those per box. So that's why
yeah,
I like them. But I didn't like the Topps update or Topps Series 1 and 2 blaster boxes because you got the stupid card and it's basically a throwaway card. You're spending
yeah.
$5 or $10, extra money to get this stupid card. So it made total sense I remember I was listening to yours and I said, oh yeah, why don't I get the hangers? That makes perfect sense. People just don't think like that. They just say, oh, blaster, $20. It's got to have more cards and that's it. They just go by what they see.
Mm-hmm. And I remember, for the 2018 update that I was talking about earlier, I was sitting there in the store thinking, what should I get? Should I get a blaster or should I get a hanger? What's better? I didn't really know at the time. I didn't do any of the numbers. So, I bought both and just kind of eyeballed it to figure out what I liked better. And at the time, I actually liked the blaster boxes better because you get all those packs. You can open 7 packs up or whatever.
Yes.
But the hanger box, it's 1 pack and it's wrapped in cellophane. And I don't like the cellophane wrapper. I don't know why. I like it to be covered. I like the cards to be more mysteriously covered, and you open it up and it's like the great reveal, And if there's just a clear cellophane over it, it just feels cheap for some reason.
It is. It was just like they're just like, oh, it's just wrapping this crap. It's probably cheaper.
Yeah.
I'm 100% with you because I like the fact that I'm opening up each pack and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get something. It moves down there a little bit. I get excited.
Yeah.
But
but nowadays it's like I almost like the hanger box better now than the blasters because just all the numbers that I've been looking at and doing, it's like the hanger box is better, and it's right in line with the fat pack. Hanger box, fat pack, they're almost identical in terms of odds per the dollar per you have to spend for the odds. They're almost identical. The only difference is that you're getting more protection in that hanger box than the fat pack.
I was just going to say that. I was like, that's the one reason why I go with the hangers now is because I've opened up so many of those fat packs and all the corners are all dinged up. So I might as well just pull them out. And, and you have pack searchers and things like that. So I like the hang. They still have the hangers and blasters, but you can sort of tell if someone opened them up or not. Easier. All right. So I'm going to change topics a little bit. So you also do breaking and you've done it in a very short period of time. Why did you start that?
Wow, that one just came out of nowhere. Like this whole thing, everything about my YouTube and website and everything, it just came out of the ether. It was weird. I didn't plan on any of this happening. So I'm making the videos and I had less than 1,000 subscribers. I probably had like 600 subscribers or something like that. And I wanted to do a live stream because it looks like so much fun. So started live streaming and through the whatever that app is, Streamlabs. And, you can bypass your 1,000 subscriber threshold by using that. So started streaming live and opening packs, just my own stuff. And people started saying, hey, man, you should do breaks. I want to get in on it. We opened some cards. Like I had seen other breakers and I was like, I don't know, man. Maybe I'll give it a try. So I bought like 1 box of cards or something. I don't even remember what it was, the first thing I did. And it was a success. And people wanted more. So I, created a website. I have some website development in my past. So that was really easy for me to do. And basically just went from there and it just kind of organically grew. Everything about what I do is organic growth. I don't really go like you're the first person I've ever talked to on the set, as with an interview or anything like that. I don't really go around doing interviews or multi-streaming with people. It just grows on its own. And I found that way your subscriber base is way better. Whereas if you go out and you're like promoting your channel on other people's channels, trying to get subscribers and clicks and likes and all that, you get a bunch of trashy people that come around and they're just trolls. You get trolls that way. So
I would 1,000% agree. Yeah, no. If I look
yeah,
at some of my reviews, I get a little down in the dumps. So I stopped looking. It's not too bad, but yeah, no, definitely. Yeah,
yeah.
I
So as
agree.
you get the organic growth in there, and you get good people. So I haven't had really any very few problems with trolls, and it's because everybody who subscribes to my page found it somehow and they liked it, and they actually just I didn't have to like go out and find them and try to convince them to subscribe and all that. It's like, hey, you guys like it? Here it is. You don't like it, you're not going to subscribe. That way you don't deal with the trolls. I don't know. It just kind of
Yeah,
works.
I should do a better job of what you're saying, but I don't. I'm the same way. I don't, like, subscribe, and my daughter watches like those, like they open up eggs. It literally is people just opening up eggs that have
Yeah.
toys in them, and they always say, "All right, guys, you gotta like, subscribe, and buy YouTubies." So I was gonna start doing that, but I didn't think the baseball card world was ready for that yet. But I don't do much promotion outside of if I do an interview with someone, and then I'll pester people to watch. But outside of that, yeah, no, I agree, because you're sort of infiltrating into someone's life and going, no, listen to me.
Yeah.
Do you like me? And they go, no, I don't. And you're like, well, don't comment that. Just keep it to yourself.
I think a
So
lot of my growth was hanging out in other people's chats that I like other channels that I like, and just hanging out with the people and like getting to know people, and not asking for subs or anything like that. It's like, if you like my conversation, go ahead and sub. But you gotta remind people, hit the like and subscribe if they're already watching, or else they won't a lot of times. So just the reminder, like, hey guys, click that sub, ring the bell. That little bit helps for the people that already know about your stuff. But as far as like going out and growing, and yeah, I'm not an expert on any of that. This is just I'm just a guy, it just kind of happens. But all I know is from personal experience, don't go out begging. Just let it happen naturally.
yeah, I agree. I agree, because I think the people that I have in my group there, you got a good core, solid core of people, and they're all giving information and sharing stuff, and it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, so you've been doing this breaking for a while. I was gonna say, do you have any tips or tricks? But to be honest with you, it's just organic growth. It's just talking to your community, talking to different communities about all the different card releases that are coming out and whatnot. I don't think there's any special formula.
No, and well, what's your goal? That would be my thing. Is I don't have a goal of. I don't really have a goal, which just sounds weird. It's like I'm not out there with a, like, this is what I'm here to do. I just do what's fun. I just do, like, if I'm enjoying it, maybe other people enjoy it. So it's like, I just want to share what I think is fun. And if I think it's fun, then you guys probably will too, because we're very similar. Like, a lot of people in this community are very similar, both demographic, age, like your story of how you came into baseball cards or whatever kind of cards you collect. It's a lot of people have the same likes and dislikes. So I don't know, if I find something that's enjoyable, I'm just going to record it and upload it and hopefully entertain some people. But like, I don't have this, I want to make a bunch of money doing this goal. Like, that's not it. It's, if I make money off of it, that's great. I'd love to do it for a living, where I can just kind of shut down all of the other things I have going in my life and focus on making YouTube videos and helping people have a fun time, a fun experience, a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of knowledge, providing value. I guess my one goal is provide value some way, whether, yeah.
I'm sorry, I cut you off really bad. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
No, that's interview 101. I'm still learning. I just cut you off midstream. I'm sorry about that. But I agree. I agree. I think just giving value. You're not going to become rich doing YouTube videos and podcasting for sports cards right now. Not yet, anyway.
Right. And if that's the goal, if you have the goal of like, I want to get rich doing this, go somewhere else. Like, I don't know about you, but like, people in this field, if that's what you want to call it, the collecting, the hobby, they don't want somebody, they don't want to listen to somebody who is just out to make money, out to make money. At least the people that I know. The people that I know have a passion and a love for the cards and the collecting and the community. And then money is like a secondary thing. Like everybody needs to make a living, but what are you in it for? Are you in it just to make a dollar? Or are you in it for other reasons? And you see the rise and fall of people who take it too far. You see people who just are, all they care about is cramming as much, just making as much money as possible, as fast as they can. Whatever, people get shorted or ripped off. They don't get their cards. They don't get what they paid for. And I mean, you see it happen, and it's tragic, but it's a pull that is, I think, negative, but it's part of the hobby, part of the community. But you can tell just by looking at somebody on their YouTube videos and their cadence, almost like, what's this guy in it for? Is this guy just in it to make a couple bucks? And if he is, then I'll probably watch somebody else who just really likes cards. I don't know. That's where I come from.
I'm in both.
Yeah.
Both. I tend to gravitate towards people who just like cards, that enjoy cards, that open up packs. I can't believe the fact that I actually watched somebody on video just opening up packs. To me, if you would have told me this 2 years ago, I would have said that's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my entire life. Why would anyone even watch that?
I know, it's insane.
Watching it. But I do, like, if people are like on YouTube and like yourself, giving a ton of hours of your time and everything like that, and then you go, hey, look, I like to make a couple of bucks while doing it. I don't think that's bad either.
No.
I understand what you're saying. You're saying that's all it's about. Then yeah, and people can tell if you're genuine or not. If you're genuinely into the cards and you're making a boatload of money, then that's like the best of both worlds. But it's sort of hard to do that in this industry without going to I think selling high-end cards. I think that's when you'll be able to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Unless you're a huge gigantic breaker.
And there is both of the things, the money making and the collecting, come together for most people. Like, I don't know anybody who's buying a pack of cards that doesn't care about getting a high dollar card. Like, you want to get a valuable card, and everybody does. It's not like you open a pack and you get nothing and you just go, well, that was great, I had a good time opening that pack. It's like, no, you want to get high dollar cards. You hope you can flip it, make a couple bucks so you can fund the hobby further. That's what a lot of people do. You have to fund the hobby somehow. We're not all rich. So I'm not saying that making the money is bad off of it at all. It's just, you have to balance it.
Yeah.
And if it's clearly just a money grab, then people aren't going to want to watch as much, probably. Like, I mean, think about all the big breakers out there. All they do is go through cards as fast as they possibly can. They don't care. They pretend to care sometimes just because they know they have to, but they don't really care what cards you're getting. They're just trying to make, $150 or whatever it might be per break as fast as they can, as many times as they can. But that's not what I do. I can't do that. I can't just like flip as fast as I can because of many different, responsibilities. Like, I've got a daughter at home that takes a lot of responsibility. My wife works full time. It's like, I can't just do cases and cases and cases. So mine are more intimate, smaller, less frequent. Everybody kind of knows each other, and you get a new person in every once in a while, a new member of the gang, and I think it's a lot funner that way than the mass produced break.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely agree. Intimate times with Stryker Breaks. That can be one of your that's your next YouTube.
That's right. My jingle. You want to hear my jingle?
You have that. You have a good radio voice for that nonsense.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. So, yeah, I try to do breaks, not for me to make any money, just to do it. and it's hard. It's hard for me to
Oh yeah.
get everything, to get everything bought out. So like the fact that people are able to do it regularly, like I'm astonished. And those the big breakers, they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars,
Mm-hmm.
because they have to outlay. Like I'm not gonna lie, I probably would like it, but I don't know if I would want to open 10 cases in a day.
Yeah, that'd be a little much. Like I could open that many, but having to sort that much, no way.
Yeah, no. I still haven't sorted. Like I said, I bought the 2 blaster cases. They've been sorted, but they haven't been listed. They're still right underneath. I have a green room that I talk about, and that's where all my cards. That's where I play with my cards and stuff like that. They're right underneath the bed.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, it's just too much. I love opening them. I can open them all day, and then I would just love to have like somebody like, okay, here you go, you do that now. You separate them, and you can list them to sell them.
Yeah, I've got a pile sitting there that like I try to go through them, but there's just only so much time. Like my box of Series 1 base cards is just overflowing right now. Literally, it's overflowing. There's cards on the ground, there's cards everywhere.
How many cases did you open?
I didn't even do a bunch of cases. I did a lot of retail. I did.
Oh, okay.
It's not even that much. It's just like I did a jumbo box, a hobby box, and then a bunch of retail. Maybe like, I don't even know what I'm up to now. Let's just say like 15 blasters, 15 hangers, 15 fat packs, a couple of tins, just, all the different varieties add up to just a box full of cards spilling over everywhere. And like you said, the listing is the hardest part. Like you got to, because it takes a lot of time listing properly these things. If you have, especially if it's one card, I like to sell them as lots on eBay, which I don't do a lot of. I don't sell a ton of cards, but the ones that I do, I'll get like from, let's say, Series 1 stuff, I'll get all my gold cards together and I'll list them in a lot of 15 gold cards and put like $20 or how, I don't even know how much.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, just whatever someone will pay for them, just random ones. And I actually just put my first PSA submission in. I thought I was a raw card guy, which I still kind of am, but I think it was more nerves, never doing it before, never doing a submission, and it seems complicated, a lot of time, a lot of money has to go out. So that kept me from doing it for a while, and maybe also not having enough to do a bulk submission, because you got to get those bulk rates, to get the price down.
Yep.
So I've got my first one coming in right now. I gave 100 cards to this dude who does group submissions, gets a bunch of cards together. So I'm going to be excited to see what happens there. I got 100 cards, and I'm sure it'll help with selling. If I just have to list one card that's worth $100 rather than a $5 card, it feels like you just wasted all your time and you're not going to make any money off of it. So who cares?
Yeah, that's what I've been transitioning to. I went against my not buying retail. I didn't buy retail for like 2 months because I was going and just buying stuff all the time. But once I found basketball Optic, I finally found them. I bought 12 blasters. I had a bunch of packs, and I was trying to sell them on eBay, and I just missed that window of where they were selling for like a ton of money.
Yep.
And then it went down, and I'm like, I know the way I am. I can't hold anything. It'll be one night where I'm looking at it and they're looking at me, and one thing leads to another, and I'm just opening up boxes. So that's typically what happens every single time. It just gives me, I see a little wink, and I'm like, all right.
You got to hide them, man. You got to hide them.
No, it's that's the thing. I have to hide or put it in a safe or something like that. But so I open them all up, and now I got a bunch of cards, and then I go, God. And so I do love buying blasters, boxes, things like that. But I'm trying to get to higher end cards because it's much easier to list them on eBay.
Yeah.
It's just easier. I just want to get rid of the stuff that I have now just to clear the deck and just get some money in. But then I go, well, I want good value for it. I'm stubborn in my head. I'm a knucklehead. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I feel the same. It's like you want to get the most value for your card, but you got to put the best offer on there. And if someone throws you an offer that's even remotely realistic, just do it. Just sell it. Just because you got to consolidate. Just cards everywhere.
And that's what I'm leaning towards now, because it's just go. And the thing is, once I did that blaster case, I was like, I want to do this all the time. I was like, but I don't want to do this all the time. I was like, I want to open them, but I don't want to do anything else but open them. I wish there was like a job that was like that, just a card box opener guy.
Yeah, it's called a breaker. You just pay someone to sort it for you.
Yeah, but they have to put down a ton of money, and a lot of the smaller guys, they get cut all the time, with the cases that they're going to get.
Oh yeah, that just happened to me actually. For the first time, I ordered a case, and like I don't have a distributor who just gives me as many cases as I want. I got to go hunt these cards out and find them, and it can be difficult. But so finally, I found this dude who I bought a case of jumbo boxes, a 2020 Series 1, and had it, paid for it and everything. And it comes to be, I actually talked to him on the phone for like half an hour. We had a good rapport. It was friendly. I was like, I'm going to start doing business with you. And here comes release day. Nothing. I waited a week before. I didn't get any tracking information or anything. And I'm like, hey, what's going on with this? And he's like, sorry, I got shorted 6 cases and you were the last person to buy them, which I was. I know I was the last person to buy them.
Mm-hmm.
So I just got bumped, basically, and I didn't get my case. And that sucks, but it's part of the game. You just have to deal with it. What are you going to do? Go find it somewhere else for a lot more money is basically all you can do.
I would whine, complain, and be on the podcast. I'll tell you that right now. I'm a big complainer. That's all I'd be doing. I'm like, can you believe this? If I got cut a case that I bought pre-sale, because knowing me, it would be that would exactly be me. I would be the last person because I'd be hemming and hawing about it. Like everybody else in the hobby, they go, I don't know, should I get it or not? There's too many cards. And I hear you. So, all right, I'm gonna move this along here. What do you think? How do you think the hobby's doing? What do you see in the future for the hobby from what you've experienced?
Well, it appears to be growing significantly, and everybody I talk to is saying that they're having trouble finding cards, and that means that there's a high demand. People are scooping up these cards, so there's a higher demand. There's a fairly flat supply. I mean, it is increasing a little bit here and there, and I've done some videos where they increase production by a lot, but I'm not really worried because of the way that the card hobby has changed, and the producers, Topps and Panini in particular, have changed the way they make cards with having so many numbered cards these days. I don't think that the increase in production is going to have that big of an effect on the overall value of the cards, because anything that's worth much is either numbered or in short production anyway, regardless of how many base cards they have. So I could see base card value dropping, which is inevitable when they make 150 million cards or whatever of one release. The base cards aren't going to be worth very much. So you're going to end up having, which you do, these multiple hierarchies of what is good and what is collectible. So say they have like 100,000 of each player in a base set for Series 1. Let's just use that number. Well, how many are going to be PSA 10s? I don't know. Let's just say 1% maybe. So, you can have a separate hierarchy just based off of the graded cards. And you've seen recently some of the cards, like the Heritage stuff, has dropped a little bit, I think, as far as just the base cards, because I don't know the production numbers for last year, but I'm sure they increased it. It seems like they've been increasing about 15%, 10 to 15% per release, up to 50%. The Topps Chrome update this year was like 40 to 50% increase.
I actually avoided that. I didn't like Topps update last year and Topps Chrome. I steered clear from both of those.
I steered clear pretty good from those two. I did, however, I found a bunch of them somewhere, and I think I flipped a few, opened a few. As soon as I found out how much they produced, I was like, I'm out. And there was tons of it sitting on the shelves everywhere. Everybody I talked to said there's like 36 boxes sitting on the shelves. Should I buy them all? I'm like, no. Don't buy them all, man. You're not going to be able to flip them. Just go look at eBay right now. There's like 10,000 listings of Topps Chrome Update. Everybody's trying to make a buck.
I will say, though, you might be able to. It might be a harder time getting because of the thinner stock that the cards were made of, which made it difficult. I bought maybe 1 or 2 boxes, like hangers, and a lot of them had dings. All the corners had dings. And then I saw on Twitter a lot of people were complaining about that. But unless one of those rookies, really do well, who knows?
Yeah, I think Jordan's going to be fine. He'll be fine. He's young. He's got power. He's lefty. He's always going to have stuff.
He's 20. You're talking about. I'm talking about 2019. Well, I was talking about Topps update and Topps.
The regular update. Yeah, I was talking about the Chrome update versions that you could only get from Target. But the regular update.
Yeah.
Yeah, the regular update last year, they did not produce that much of it. Let me look at my numbers here. I've got this pulled up. So
say that it was like 3. For some reason, 3,000 is popping in my head, but I don't know.
Yep, that's it. You're right. 3,000 hobby and 3,000 jumbo cases. So if you compare now, okay, that's not considering all the retail. There's a bunch of retail too, but there is for all of the flagship stuff. But so compare that 2019 Topps update, 3,000 hobby, 3,000 jumbo. 2020 Series 1, 5,000 hobby, 7,500 jumbo.
Yeah.
Huge increase. But you can't really compare update to Series 1 because it's 2 different animals.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, I mean, this year you had a lot of good rookies this year, and with Jordan out there, they really bumped it up. I think the last 2 Series 1s have been pretty good. 2018 was a pretty good year as well.
2018 is underrated.
Yeah, I think that's a good buy. If I had any huevos and was able to not open up a box, I would buy them. But I know I don't but they were selling for like $60, $65, maybe even $55 in some places, in some card shops because they can't get rid of them.
Yeah. And I still see 2018 Series 1 at Walmart for the clearance. There's still a bunch of it. I haven't bought it. Maybe I should, but it's still sitting there looking at me.
Yeah, that might not be that bad because you have Ohtani, you have Miguel Andujar, you have Walker Buehler. There's somebody else that's big that I'm definitely missing. It's just off the top of my head, I can't remember. But I remember looking at it and I said, wow, this is probably one of the better Topps Series ones in the past. I did a podcast where I did the past 10 years. And I was like, I think 2018 was the top one for Series 1, as, had the best value and had, the top rookies. But
what do you think? How would that compare to this one if you had to redo it to the 2020 Series 1?
See, it's difficult because they haven't they played half the season. Who was it? Bo Bichette, he did well. Gavin Lux played well. Jordan Alvarez, was amazing. But the thing is, if Ohtani comes back and he's Ohtani, now that Topps Series 1 looks pretty good. If Miguel Andujar comes back, he was, hot when he came out. He was doing really well. So it's tough. I think they're both right next to each other. I don't know if I would switch it or not. Just because I would probably think that they made less of them, Topps in 2018. So I probably would give them the nod just because they made less of them. That's what I'm thinking.
Let me give you some gravy here because 2018 Series 1, they made 6,000 hobby cases. 2020 Series 1, they made 5,000.
Then we got to go to 2020 then.
In 2019 Series 1, they made about 4,250. That was kind of a weird number. It didn't make sense to me. Usually it's like 4,000 or 4,500. But so they knew 2018 Series 1 had a bunch of good rookies. So they made a bunch of it. There's a lot of it around. That's probably why you're still seeing it, because they made so much. I don't know how many jumbo cases they made because I don't have those numbers. But there's 1,000 more cases than 2020 Series 1, and you've seen all the hype that they have for this.
Yeah, damn right. All right, man. One final word. So, what do you think looking forward? What sets are you looking forward to this year?
Bowman, baby. It's all about the Bowman.
Which one, though?
Well, April 15th, you got I don't know if you want to call it the flagship Bowman release, whatever. It's just the straight up Bowman coming out, and Bobby Witt Jr. is going to be making his appearance. They held him out of Bowman Draft so that they could have a product that's worthy of everybody buying as much as they possibly can. Not only that, but you're going to get. I don't think there's going to be a Luis Robert, but as soon as he starts having cards, whatever series that is, I'm guessing series 2, but people are going to buy up all that stuff. Luis Robert, next hotness. But yeah, Bowman, it's all about Bowman, baby. The best part about just the straight up Bowman as compared to Bowman Draft and Bowman Chrome or Bowman Platinum or any of the other ones is the retail. I mean, you get Bowman Platinum retail, but that stuff kind of sucks. I've learned. But the Bowman, straight up Bowman, you can go and buy a $20 hobby box. And if you have to buy a retail box, if you have to buy a hobby box or God forbid a jumbo, if you're going to, pony up and buy a jumbo box of that stuff, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. They're up about $400, but you can just go buy a $20 blaster and get Bobby Witt Jr. out of it if you want. Maybe not an auto. But
yeah, I don't hit the one who's driving it up is Dominguez now from the Yankees, who they're saying is the next Mike Trout. So he's going to be in that. So the Yankees, as a breaker, you're going to be charging like an arm and a leg. Everyone is like ready for this guy to come out. I forget what the hell he has some nickname. My memory's shot, so I forget half the stuff. But I just know he's coming out, and I forget his nickname, and it's gonna come back. Everybody in the Flick chat is, in the group is like, "Yo, you dumbass, it's this." But yeah, that's the guy that everybody. I know, Witt definitely they held him out to put him in here, but now that Dominguez is definitely going to be in Bowman, that's really what's driving it up now, which is good for retail, I think, because I think if you see them out there, you're going to want to buy them up. Do they have hanger packs for Bowman?
Yeah, they have the hanger packs with some kind of exclusive. I think I can't remember what. I'm pretty sure they have the hanger packs and the blasters, and who knows if they're going to. Well, they definitely have the gravity packs as well, but who knows what they might come out with again. It seems like they're expanding and growing and changing and adding. Maybe they'll have a monster box or something like that of regular Bowman this year. Who knows?
Yeah, because I've been noticing lately, going back to the hanger boxes, wherever I go, Target, Walmart, whatever, Top Series 1, they replenished my Target. All the blasters were there. All the hangers were gone. And it was stocked. It had 30 of them. All gone.
Wow.
I went one day and I got one box because I'm not really buying though. I'm trying to do good. Trying to do well and not buy retail. I'm more buying the cards that I want. But then I went back just to go back because it's Target. Of course, I have to go through that aisle no matter what. And they were all gone within a day, 2 days tops. All gone. So
yeah.
People are starting to figure it out, which is, I guess, good, but not good for me because I just figured it out. So, all right. And closing thoughts, anything at all? Anything you want to promote?
I don't really have anything to promote. Maybe the website, strykerbreaks.com. Check me out on YouTube page, and I've got a Patreon page just for a little bit of support there. But I'm not really promoting anything. Just wanted to have a good talk with you, and it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me. Thank you for talking to me. Not too many people like to talk. I'm glad I had somebody to talk to. Usually I'm by myself. Thank you again. And it was a great chat. And guys, head over to Stryker Breaks. Maybe get on some of that stuff and watch his videos. Really informative. And dude, I had a great time. Thanks a lot, man.
All right. Have a great day.